Okay. Today I presented about political and social geography of Southwest Asia. So first I'll talk about issues of in Southwest Asia. Uh, First, this picture is at least 48 people were killed and 67 injured in a bomb attack at an education center in the Afghanistan. Most of the victims were teenagers who were preparing for the college entrance exam. Most people are suspecting it was the Taliban. However, the Taliban denied the charge, saying the attack was not their fault. And this picture, it is little fun issue. An Egyptian TV anchor was sentenced to a year of hard labor because of interviewing a gay man last year. So this is a fun issue. And as the economy switched to providing petroleum and petroleum products, the life of people in cities changed as well. Because of this change in the economy, the entire area is much more urbanized. So millions of people abandoned their lives as farmers and nomads moved into cities. So and next, we can see that how many people urbanized by this graph. So in 1960s, the region was about 25% urbanized. In 1990s, the percent of urbanized had risen to about 58%. And according to estimates, 70% of population live in cities by 2015. And terrorism in Southwest. So there are three main terrorists in Southwest. First one is Taliban. It is established in 1994 in Afghanistan. Taliban occupied Afghanistan for 5 years and they are destroyed it in 2001. And second one is Al-Qaeda. They are made in 1979 by Osama bin Laden. 얘네가 그걸로 유명하죠. 그 911. Yes, 911 terror로. So this terror was occurred by Al-Qaeda. And lastly, there is Daesh, which is IS. Why I called it Daesh? Because it's we should call it Daesh because I don't know. Well, we should call it Daesh, not IS.
Why?
You can find. Yes.
Okay.
And this picture says one person killed more than 100 people, but he has not regarded it. 그래서 이게 100명 이상의 사람을 죽였다는 기사가 있었어요. 근데 이 사람이 어떻게 보면 나쁜데 자기가 당한 게 많았어요. 그래서 이제 알카에다에 가입을 하고 IS에 잠입을 한 다음에 IS를 죽인 거예요. 테러리스트. So when his peer drives a motorcycle in front of his and he sit in the back and follow him to the side of the car where the target is riding. If they fire at the target in the car, target can't escape. 그래서 이게 그 어떻게 죽였냐면 이렇게 뒤에서 앞에서 동료가 차에서 운전을 하고 있으면 뒤에서 자기가 타면서 옆에 달려가면서 이렇게 총을 빵 쏜 거예요. 그런 식으로 100명 정도를 죽였다 해요. And this application of refugee 이제 얘네가 전쟁이 하도 많은 전쟁이 있었다 보니까 그래서 이렇게 막 많은 난민들이 생겼어요. 그래서 이 사진은 이번에 제주도에 저희 나라에 예멘 애들이 많이 나왔잖아요. 그래서 그런 건데, so Yemen has nearly 4 years of civil war that has killed tens of thousands of civilians, and about a third of the country is starved. As a result, a large number of refugees occurred that 500 Yemeni people moved to Jeju Island this year. The reason why they chose Jeju Island is because it is accessible. Since 2002, the visa-free system has been implemented to attract tourists, allowing anyone other than citizens of some countries to enter the country without a visa. And Jeju Immigration and Foreign Affairs Office is allowing more applicants for Yemeni refugees in Jeju. 그래서 이제 이 다음 거는 터키 있었던 지진이에요. At 3 a.m. on August 17 to 1999, residents of Gorcho city near Izmir. 그래서 보면 여기 이 부분에서 일어난 거예요. 여기 이즈미 여기. 그래서 when it was over, the quake, which measured 7.4 on the scale, had taken the lives of it had taken the lives of 17,000 people and caused billions of dollars of damage. Also, the earthquake destroyed 85,000 buildings, and about 40,000 families were made homeless by the earthquake. Lastly, I'll talk about Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, which is MERS. So it is respiratory infectious disease. So animals such as camels and bats are believed to be the main carriers of the virus. It was known that there were antibodies to MERS-CoV in camels, but it was not confirmed exactly where the camels infection originated. And in Saudi Arabia, there are 938 infected people and 402 people die. So death rate of Saudi Arabia by MERS is 47%. And Doohee?
What?
So Seonwoo had talked about social issue in Southwest Asia, and now I'm going to talk a little more about politics. Can I just
You can turn the volume down, or you don't have to use it.
So now I will talk about political things
But as political things cannot be explained without religious parts, I will start off with the history about how Islam had been divided into two parts, which are Sunni Muslim and Shiite Muslim. And also, in this part, I will also tell about country relationship in Southwest Asia. So first of all, Muslim was first established by Muhammad. And after his death, people had a controversy and had a conflict whether the daughter should be the leader after Muhammad or the powerful person should be the leader of Muslim. So people who advocated the daughter to be the next leader of Muslim were named Shiite Muslim, and on the other hand, people who advocated the powerful person being a leader were called Sunni Muslim. So, as time passed by, there were countries that believed different parts, one from Sunni Muslim and one from Shiite Muslim. And the countries like Saudi Arabia or Syria or Yemen, they had people who supported Sunni Muslim. So they are on this part. So this part is the place where a lot of people believed in Sunni Muslim. And then for Shiite Muslim, there is Iran, Iraq, and Bahrain, which is mostly on the east side compared to Sunni Muslim part. So we can divide that this part should be Sunni Muslim and that part is Shiite Muslim. And for Sunni Muslim, Saudi Arabia has the most impact in Southwest Asia. And for Shiite Muslim, Iran is the strongest and has the most power in Southwest Asia. So these are the major two countries, and they are Saudi Arabia and Iran. Yeah, but so I think the pictures are changed, but America should help Saudi Arabia and Russia should help Iran, and I'll talk about the setting of it. So Saudi Arabia and Iran, they both wanted to be the strongest country in Southwest Asia. So as Saudi Arabia needed weapons and powers to support them, they asked America for help. And for this, Saudi Arabia gave a lot of oil and supported a lot of crude petroleum to America. So they were on a win-win relationship like that. And on the other hand, Iran is supported by Russia because Iran thought Saudi Arabia could be stronger than their country, so they also need help. And Russia also wanted to make some influence and effect on Southwest Asia, so like America and Saudi Arabia were ally countries, and Russia and Iran were ally countries. So, and there was a conflict between Iraq and Saudi Arabia, which is Sunni Muslim versus Shiite Muslim. And in 2003, American, his name is Bush, president from America, and America made an invasion against Iraq. There were several reasons for them to invade Iraq, and to tell some of the reasons they have invaded Iraq is, first, Iraq has previously revealed its possession of weapons of mass destruction and is still likely to threaten the other countries. And for the second, the dictator Saddam Hussein is carried out many reparations here, which America thought it was not right. And finally, due to repeated UN inspection, it was not easy to confirm the disposal of weapons of mass destruction. So they wanted to check how Iraq really has a lot of threatening weapons. Yeah. And after the war, eventually they found that Iraq had not that much threatening weapons. Yeah. And Weisberg also said that he had tried to invade Iraq since 1993. So this is another theory why this Bush president tried to invade Iraq is that there is his father, and his father one time went to Iraq, and on that country, Iraq people tried to kill his father, and there's a theory that's why Bush president tried to invade Iraq, and there are other theories too. So more about Iraq's Muslim. So in Iraq, it's a lot different before the Iraq War and after the Iraq War. So before the Americans' invasion, the government supported Shiite Muslim, but the citizens of the Iraq supported Sunni Muslim. So they had the power, so they do what they wanted. So they support this was right, but the citizens' thoughts were different. But after the war, the government and people with many money and power started to lose their power, and eventually, and now these days, I've heard that Iraq is supporting Sunni Muslim more because of the citizens. 그러니까 시민들의 의견이 점점 반영이 되고 이제 점점 시아파가 강력한 주권을 갖고 있다가 이제 수니 무슬림으로 이제 넘어가는 추세라고 합니다. And the next thing is about political conflicts in Israel. Before talking about this specifically, I first want to tell you how Israel, the country of Jewish, had been made right here. It's right here. You see, it's a small country compared to the other countries, but yeah. And we all know that there was Israel, where Jesus gave messages when he was born. And after, Jewish were conquered by Rome, so they had been separated by a lot of outside forces. But as it came into 19th century, Jewish in America, they started to get power and money, and they became to be one of the influential people. So 미국에 영향력 있는 사람들이 이제 거의 대부분 다 유대인이거든요. For like Bill Gates is also Jewish, and also I'm not sure about this, but who was it? Warren Buffett. I also heard that he's kind of Jewish. So in 1948, by the UN's decision, which I think the Jewish people from America gave a lot of force to UN to make this kind of decision. So I think that's why UN made the kind of decision. And so eventually Israel was born again. But now here's the problem, because the Jewish came to Israel, but there were Pakistani person who were living there. So they were the usual residents of Israel, but now they were forced to get out of their places. So there were many Pakistan Arabian refugees. And
Isn't it Palestine?
oh yeah, Palestine. Oh, sorry. Yes, it's Palestine. Yeah. I'll correct that. and they got kicked out of their home, so they hated Jewish, and they eventually this made the war to broke out. So this war is called Arab and Israel War, which is Israel and other UN countries plus America versus the Muslim countries like Arab, Iraq, Iran. So there were 4 times of war between Arab and Israel, and as time went on, Israel, with support with America and other Europe countries, marginally defeated Palestine and other other Muslim countries, and as a result, Israel almost got rid of all of the Palestine people in 2012, except for the West Bank, where Palestine and Jewish people are combined, and they're 공동으로 사는 지역 이외에는 they all got rid of Palestine. Like that. So, but as the war happened, there were many Arabian refugees, Palestine refugees, and they had nowhere to go. So they lived in a coast of Israel or other Southwest Asian countries. So UN decided to help them. 어떻게 보면 병주고 약주고가 될 수 있지만, so the United Nations recommended allowing Palestine and Jewish refugees to return to their home, to Israel, only if they keep the coexistence peacefully and without any war. But it was hard to keep it, so eventually Palestine couldn't get many advantage from this policy, and I guess they were kicked out. So now there are Jewish people in Israel, and the Muslim and Palestine people are surrounding Israel. So there are little and big conflicts until today. So second, now I will talk about the real political form, how the country work in Southwest Asia. So before the main point, you should know that most of the countries in Southwest Asia have a man who has undestroyable power. So he has the most strongest power and he decides everything. So he's kind of king of the kingdom. So although there is a president or other government parties, one man still rules the country. But there is a unique country, which is Israel, and they are similar to the other countries like America or our country. So they don't have one guy who rules everything. They just make the power to, 그러니까 권력을 분산시켜서, 그러니까 독점적인 그런 권력을 행사하지 못하게 하고 있는. So that's the unique country, which is Israel. So to start off, it's Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia has a politics of monarchy, a tranny, and a unitary state. The Saudi king is the head of state, which has the most power and money, and he is the ruler of Saudi Arabia. The king is an absolute monarch and involves politics as well as the royal family of Saudi Arabia. And in Saudi Arabia, the prime minister is not appointed separately, so just there's a one line where that has a lot of powers and decides and controls everything. So all ministers will be appointed by their close relatives. 권력을 유지해 나가기 위해 they choose their relatives or their families for the next leader or the next spot of important places. And the next is Iran, and this is the picture that really describes Iran politics well. So there's one leader there is a president, but the supreme leader controls everything, like Saudi Arabia. So the voters vote president, and the president is, 그러니까 대통령이 당선이 되고 실질적인 권력자는 supreme leader인 겁니다. And next, so the United Arab Emirates is also the country where the supreme leader orders and controls everything of the country. So they also elect a president, but the actual power is coming from the king of Dubai, the largest city. And unlike these countries, before that, as I search why these countries can be maintained, although the king, the one powerful people, controls everything, and I thought that the oil and the resource of their lands make the country stable, not to be very poverty. 그러니까 경제적으로 부족하지 않은 상황에서 I think that is the main factor that keeps the country stable and work well. And unlike these countries, finally let's talk about Israel. And this country is a republican and adopts a parliamentary cabinet system which is similar to our country and unlike the other countries nearby. Currently the prime minister is Benjamin Netanyahu, who became the leader on March 31, 2009. This country thinks the power must be divided by several parts. Therefore, Israel has different forms of political situation compared to the other countries. And these are the major parties, as you can see.
Yes.
Likud is the most powerful, the parties that have the most portion in all politics. But as you can see, the percent doesn't have a large gap, so we can see it's all similar. And I think that's the reason, because of they have separated the power in lots of ways. And